What's up, family? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about finding success through a slow burn. First and foremost, I just want to thank God for giving me the ability to even be here and, sit here right now and be able to talk to you guys, to have a platform and to have the courage and the confidence to speak on camera and post this online. I give respect to all the content creators out there that are doing this. It takes an immense amount of effort and dedication to speak, to prepare, to record, to edit, and to post. And I thought this was an easy thing, but it's really not that easy. It definitely takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time. And I appreciate every single content creator that has poured into me. And that's what really gives me the motivation to pour into you guys. So thanks. I just first off want to start by saying success through a slow start requires a lot of audacity, and it requires the courage to keep planting when the field looks empty. I just wanted to start off with the scripture from Zechariah 4:10. It says, "Do not despise small beginnings. The Lord rejoices to see the work begin." Believe me when I say I know exactly what it feels like when you start posting your content and in the beginning you're getting 200-300 views, maybe even less than that, 5-6 likes, no comments, no saves. You start posting your YouTube videos and you're not getting any views at all. In the beginning, it sucks. And to a degree, I'm still in that process of getting low views, low engagement, low likes, where it feels like I'm super small and no one is listening. However, one thing I have found is that in this process, there are still blessings. And those blessings is that you're still seeking to serve. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. That is the humbling beginning that matters, is that you have a heart posture to serve an audience. A goal of mine that I would always pray over, and I would tell everyone I met about when they would ask, what do you see yourself doing with your life, is I would always say, man, I really don't know. I just want to encourage a community. And I would say that over and over and over again, every time I met someone new that asked me what I wanted to do with my life. And after saying that over and over again, what I finally found is that I could have been doing it the whole time, seeking to encourage a community, but I didn't, because I let self-doubt get in the way. Before I even started the process, I let the fact that I was doubting myself and my abilities to get in the way of actually fulfilling a dream of mine. And then when I actually started posting content and I was getting no views, it was a really humbling experience. And realistically, it was on YouTube that I was getting no views. On all my other platforms that I was posting, I was getting a lot of views. I was getting the likes, and I was getting the engagement, and I was getting the comments. But I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it, because I still didn't feel like I was fulfilling my purpose. I was fulfilling my duty, because I had just started and I was seeking to get millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views instead of just 1,000 or tens of thousands, which is extremely selfish on my part. But the point I want to make is, don't mock 12 views. Don't mock 0 comments. It's going to be extremely awkward at first, and you're not really going to know what to expect out of posting content because you just started. But as time goes on and you start to understand the data behind posting, you start to understand who your targeted audience is, you start to grow in how confident you are with posting and getting the stuff out there. Because realistically, all you're doing is serving someone. And when you serve one person, you serve thousands of people. Because speaking to one person has the ability to impact millions. That one person that your words touched could go and speak to hundreds of thousands. That could be the person who you speak and it clicks. And that person goes on to post content, and he's a natural. He or she naturally has the gift of gab. They're naturally good at editing. They have more time on their hands than you do to do the thing that you're saying, and they end up blowing up in a year or in 2 years or in 6 months, or they blow up in a month. Who knows what can happen? But the fact that you served one person who had the skill set and the ability to do more is such a blessing, because I think at the end of the day, it's about getting the word out, right? If you speak to 10, if you speak and 10 people watch your videos, but those 10 people like actually grab onto what you're saying and they go and take action, and then you have 10 people's lives who have changed forever, and then they go on to their own communities and they impact the people that they surround, and then those people that they're around goes on to impact more people that they're surrounding, and it gets to the point to where everything that you're saying actually paid off, even though in your mind you're thinking it's not. And that's why it's so important, even in the beginning, even if it's 2-3 years down the road and you still feel like the process is happening super slow, you're still getting low views, and you're like, oh, is this something that I should really do? Yes, it is. Keep going, keep persevering, because at the end of the day, when you have all that self-doubt, you never know who exactly you're impacting, because all that work is done in the dark. And then when people are really grabbing onto it, we're all just going to start bringing it to the light. The people who are actually grabbing onto the information are going to take that information and take it to places that you probably can't. At the end of the day, we're all just seeking to serve one another. And we're all seeking, not just seeking to serve one another, but we're also seeking to encourage one another throughout this process. Because at the end of the day, all it's about is transformation. And transformation is what we're seeking to deliver. The truth is, some of you think the slow start means you missed God. But sometimes the slow start is where God builds the person who can handle a fast finish. The fact of the matter is, not everything has to happen super fast. And on top of that, when things are happening super fast, we tend to burn out easily. It's better to start slow, to understand the basics, to get the principles right first, before we speed things up. It's better to understand it's better to understand the basics. It's better to understand the principles. Why? Because when you understand the basics and you understand the principles behind what you're doing, it gives you the ability to speed up without experiencing the same kind of burnout, the same kind of failures, because you know what to expect from the burn. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to give you guys 3 points that are going to help you guys get through a slow burn. Don't confuse a slow start with the wrong path. Just because progress is quiet doesn't mean purpose is absent. A lot of the things that God starts happens underneath the surface before they ever reach the surface. A seed can grow in the ground for months before it ever reaches the surface, and grows and sprouts up until the point where it's actually producing fruits. Consistency is an act of faith. We all know the Bible says, well, if you read the Bible, we all know it says, faith without works is dead, right? Faith is a belief. Faith is what you think about the thing. Faith is the thought behind what you want to experience. And when you mix that in with the work, with doing the same thing consistently over time, that's backing up the belief, you end up getting the result you wanted the whole time, which inevitably is going to be growth, which inevitably is going to be getting to the point where you're getting thousands of views on your videos, where you're getting hundreds of likes, you're getting thousands of people who are engaging with your content, even though realistically you don't need that. Over time, belief and execution is going to be the thing that gets you the result that you want. I also want to leave you guys with this last thing, and this is the most important thing. Your beginning does not define your inning. But if you give up too soon, the ending is guaranteed to be one that you're not gonna like. Low numbers, small support, and humble starts are chapters of a book that you're just now beginning. But it's not the whole story. End of the day, posting your content isn't 100% just about what you're doing. It's about who you're becoming. Becoming the person that people want to follow at the end of the day is what's going to guarantee you the result that you want. And that's all I want you guys to focus on throughout this process of surviving a season that starts slow. You're not the only person that's going through it. Every content creator, well, there's always those outliers, but the majority of content creators experience exactly what you're experiencing. In fact, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but there's a Christian content creator. Her name is Arlette Muley, something like that. She makes content called Pop the Balloon or Find Love. And I just want to give you guys this quick example to end the video. She makes videos about popping the balloon and finding love. If you guys go back far enough in her content before she ever started making those videos where she's getting hundreds of thousands to millions of views per video, before she was making travel content where she was only getting a couple of hundred to maybe a couple of thousand views on her videos, before she switched niches and did something that blew her channel through the roof, blew her channel through the roof, whereas now she's getting tons of engagement, tons of subscribers, tons of likes, tons of comments, you name it. But it took time, and it started with a season of slow burn. I want to end you guys with that. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.